obisi kokoje bribery and corruption be and lead to amount for 40,000 and plus, including Christian Atsu. Negana for a charge.
Dozens of arrest warrants have been issued for contractors and other workers. At least 2 property developers have been arrested at airports accused of trying to flee the country.
Other for me, Mama Kwababa, Ashasi media, so Mijidi, Senior Miadomo, Ghana, Asem, Ato Ghana, a legend bako, Christian Atsu, Afrimo, na, had been ye pa, especially here, Abusuya, watching a chain, in my had been ye. But Obeje, this bribery and corruption, Ekahubi, Anna, your brother, Yedmi, Atsu, Wafrimi. Ye can the papa away, ye can a doya away, ye can't modern bar, Boma Ghana Black Star, Yawa Bushia Fone, Abrofo Efamo, Yin Ekahubi. Nemo me per se, a fan from a different angle, na you a dear be free more. Wouldn't say Pempion say, Obi Anya Jumaya in the long run, no, it me affecting the Padodono. In semi yet a free taking say builders, one are contractors, engineers are where a dance yes or no. A bimu anyo mojumaye, keta share bribery and corruption. Then you naka humbi, ana city or maya woman, a dining in that tima collapse and ne. If we are seen in a charge, if we are seen in a soon. Bribery and corruption, a idea, a no to all my beer. And see, oh my Ghana, a day in the Asian free more. That man penny for a day in the Asian free more. And then we have video, we by the time I have video, you know, or better and send me a make access.
This is a building collapsing in Turkey hours after a series of earthquakes and aftershocks on February 6th. First, the bottom floor crumbled. Then, the rest of the building came down on top of it in what's known as a pancake collapse. But what really complicates this disaster is that Turkey was aware of the buildings that were the most high risk. They're called soft story structures.
Turkey, or my Turkey, are aware of, say, that area is prone to earthquake. Not aware, government aware, say, that area now earthquake in the sea and then you probably be here or 40,000 plus Ghana this year a cahono. Not taking empany for away.
A soft story building is typically a large structure with multiple floors and an open plan on the bottom. That bottom floor can sometimes be a parking garage, space for small businesses, or extra homes. These buildings are very common throughout the world, especially in countries like India, Pakistan, and Turkey, because they offer a solution to overcrowding in densely populated areas. But they historically do a poor job of withstanding medium to powerful earthquakes. Here's why. These columns here could be made of brittle concrete, and the stories on top might be made of stone and a stronger mix of concrete. Sometimes the bottom floor has fewer walls than the ones above, with sides that may be left open, or columns that aren't connected by walls. This means that a soft story is the weakest floor and cannot fully support the heavier ones above it. So when an earthquake hits, the structure may shake until that bottom floor collapses. During powerful earthquakes like Turkey and Syria's, the remainder of the building may follow. This kind of collapse traps people under heavy construction materials, making rescue missions even more difficult.
ابن عمي ومرته مع 3 أولاد لهلا ما معروف عنهم شيء ساكنين بالثاني الفني.
I can't see him. I can't see him.
This is worse than war.
But this is a challenge Turkey has faced before. A comparable 7.6 earthquake hit Izmit in 1999 and
Wow, 1999, the same thing happened here. And it happened, you know, a whole once Morofoni or more advanced, they say, Bibi says here, or more investigation. Or more fan, they say, Obina Kwako di Bonibi, na Oyeni Biabo, minus na Chiwadi, no, or more at that level. No, said, yeah, that's what, no. Once a year, I be before a year, that's all that stage, you know. BBSC, I was a solution, no. na de akɔhyɛ na obi ekofo bi owura mu na akyiwadeɛ na bosom bi na po bi na nyame abufuhyew na ha saa nneɛma no ɔmo no ɔmatra that level no ɔmo kɔ ɔmo anim ɔmo ho ne yie sɛ nipa ɔte hɔ na sɛ wanwi so adwene na wanyɛ nneɛma yɛ na sɛ nneɛma nkɔyɛ yɛmfa nkɔhyɛ honhom bi nti esi first no ɔmo hu sɛ yɛwɔ sɛ yɛ nneɛma bi tie
caused over 17,000 deaths. It became clear that poor building design and soft stories, which made up nearly 90% of building collapses, exacerbated the death toll in this disaster.
That time, the nipa 17,000 ewuye. Nti omo yɛ hwehwɛmu ehu sɛ no. Ne nti a ɛma earthquake ne see that time 1991 no ɛma nipa bebree wuye na that time 17,000 no ɛma adan no collapse saa no. Omo hu sɛ poor building structures contribute to a major factor into us.
Aftermath pushed the Turkish government to reintroduce building codes with an emphasis on earthquake safety, but they weren't enforced due to corruption. Earthquake safety, but they weren't enforced due to corruption and exacerbated the death toll in this disaster. The aftermath pushed the Turkish government to reintroduce building codes with an emphasis on earthquake safety, but they weren't enforced due to corruption.
Due to corruption. First one you see a taking government in penny for your mind to so was it the entire ecofa we buy no or shall say a chassis say no I will say a shemra na ye enforce so no man running ye drama but omantima enforce so mrano.
Nearly 90% of building collapses exacerbated the death toll in this disaster. The aftermath pushed the Turkish government to reintroduce building codes with an emphasis on earthquake safety, but they weren't enforced due to corruption, and many
na me pesa otie ye di kan see a pushy government na abromu yo mo studies we mo hu no adan na ebubu ye no because na adan na nya papanti no omo the policies by ya na e chere say afi so be si dan we say making sure say this standard we see the same na eye prone to I na say earthquake bi bampo entimi mbubu say the Canadian ebubu ye no ama aban no gina so hye mra ba utie the rabanaka because of corruption emrano omo enforce emrano yentoaso because of corruption emrana o mine hye no me kan say na mahu ne ekoso ye kuro Ghana mo emrano wo ho why na enforce why na make sure say emrano be ye adwuma.
Many buildings in Turkey were built well before 1999, which meant those buildings could only be strengthened retroactively. There is a way to keep soft-story buildings intact in the event of an earthquake, retrofitting them with materials that can support the weight of the structure. In an ideal scenario, these columns can be replaced or reinforced with steel frames. These open walls can be reinforced too, and extra bolts and braces can be drilled into the foundation. So if the structure shakes, there's support from that bottom floor. A solution like this seems simple, but it's extremely expensive to execute. According to the World Bank, around 6.7 million residential buildings in Turkey need retrofitting or reconstruction at a cost of $465 billion. As of 2021, only about 4% of those buildings were transformed.
What's it? Into omo analysis omo say empo adan bi o ho still no meet standard no e wo say etimi ye hu adwuma adan na still no say earthquake ne ba e betima bubu no Turkish government and I say taking man 4% pe no mutimi ye hu adwuma. How? Due to mismanagement, bribery and corruption. BBSC oye no BSC atoyenche BSC boni BSC ama ye hu say this is the cause. Ya pe ho solution. Say abamu mpanifo de be ye adwuma no. We nye Ghana asem nye se ye dishi akwako wu anka enye ya asem. Ba me ka se ne be ya se ko tom mpanifo no mo besua bibi afri mo. Enua no wo ya de ba ne aka anim ne dɔɔso because ye wo my Ghana e bi betima to ye enye earthquake mpo a e betima e bibi foforo se de afi bia ensuo efa nipa se de afi bia gyahihye koso no. It's the same thing ento aso.
In fact, retrofitting is an expensive undertaking and nearly impossible even in countries like the US. Here is every remaining soft-story building in San Francisco that needs reinforcements that would cost billions. But another problem in Turkey is that construction companies have been cutting corners and ignoring building codes for decades.
Another problem in Turkey, or Chiremu say, Sasa yes, Daya, yes, in that I hope problems or no. Sikani ye bebre. Empo ye didn't na to nchen Turkey for no omo kate corners, builders and contractors no. BBSC ama yatena se ahihye mraka se no. This time around, any pa 17,000 plus no mu we 1990s mu ho no. Any point say BCBO. Enti empo ya dan na wo ho no se yentimi emfixe ya. Na mo foforo na eba ne de, I was making sure say you be seen correct. You be seen in such a way FP can ba entimi mbubu easy sa, entimi flatten easy sa. Na so wonim na mo ye omo kate corners. Bribery and corruption the same and na yekoso ye my Ghana mo. Ti na make say ye nyina ye nidi owu na chi ya because of a player no woman no. Nanso mama yensua de free mo. Ento aso.
And the Turkish government has let their violations slide. According to the BBC, this post codes for decades, and the Turkish government has billions. But another problem in Turkey is that construction companies have been cutting corners and ignoring building codes for decades.
Another problem in Turkey, and they say builders cut corners. And
the Turkish government has let their violations slide. According to the BBC, this post advertised a building that complied with Turkey's latest earthquake safety regulations, which emphasizes the use of strong materials. But the way that same building collapsed suggests it was a soft story structure. Now, Turkey is cracking down on contractors that are allegedly responsible for these collapses. The scale of this disaster.
Afe, eba no. Once omo ya no my name be cover up. Oh, dan ye sini na ya brush ya grease the palm, twa sika. This aban na shemra se omunsi ne se munsi ne se a. Omo kohia ya twa sika bribe. Book mu no ya twa ne se ne si no. Ba dan ne si wo no entisa. Akoy so bi kwa kwaje license onim ka ne twi. Okotwa sika na de license na hye ne nsam. Enti books mu no onim ka ne twi. Computer no so no onim ka ne twi. Ya man license ba onim hwe ano de nam. Na sana take a dana ye sisi ho. Books mo no ya twere se o dana emiti standard, dana e correct. But a dana ka se si ho no emiti standard. Wonim ha wo mu ho ye, e kwan adana ebubu ye no me se mrofo no. Gabo ye de ne omuntam no. Akwai se free hand se e ko heaven se wonim ho de a. Ana se akwai se different ko space no. E suyi. Omo mfa bibia ko ye honhom ni we asemo. They find out omo dege hu the root of the niema na the cause problem no. And omo de baso pepepe achinye bia ne o. Akwai se o yare ne de ko she machine mo. No from machine no mo ye ba no. Utina ye de ko she machine na machine utimi scan ne a we o say malaria typhoid the same thing pepepe. Enti kwa adan ne fa so bubu ye no mo hu say ye ko books ma e wo also mo si dan ne kama say mo the materials papa standard no mo di so ba the we adan ne bubu ye no say frase collapse frase na so aba anti ase no foundation ne strong na foundation nye strong adan ne be ne agina ho my Ghana o me nsua den free mo bribery and corruption yento aso na fa me mfa me nsem kaya ikatomra.
Disaster is a result of complex factors like geography, neighborhoods still reeling from war, and weak buildings. But what makes this moment particularly harrowing is that while earthquakes along fault lines are inevitable, many of these deaths didn't have to be. Turkey, along with other countries near fault lines, are all prone to intense earthquakes. But they won't have to be this deadly if cities enforce codes and treat safe housing as a human right.
Wati, I was say it treat safe housing as a human right. All right, you say utimi tina fie a safe mo. I don't know catch out to. But no any hosa. And then I Ghana ban ya fa ho. Enemo pa say, but ye twa asase ya mani pay. Enya kwa ne wo se sifi. Ensuo mu na ye twa asase ya mani pa se onkosi. Officer na auto asase o hene na auto asase no. Onemo pa say ha enye area wo se sifi. Na wo nso adufudie nti wakwakoto wakohye ho nsu to na efa wona afa na social media esres sika ana nsu afa bi na mommoa me adenti na ye mmoa ye ho sa for wo mpanimfo so besi ase boni ti dabe ne be jai sa nyoma ye dabe pa ne be jai sa nyoma ye he eno be ko school a bribe we school pay adwuma ye bribe nurse for obeko military bribe obeko police mo bribe immigration bribe fire service bribe enti nipa na qualify onim adwuma ne yemfa no obi tinchen back office ba bi na katua nso no obeje bribe na wofa nipa na on qualify na se jeto ba bi obede na wodum no ni sika na odebe oni betima odum ja no oye criminal ya ncheke ne background enam so obetua sika nti ya fa na ko police force no mo na nyo ne akronfo na be dele ono ye kronfo deda ana manhwe ne background na moji sika na ma employ na ko police force mo onimu driving okotua sika ama ya man licenses kokunkum amanfo ma ana egusu na ye hye enipa ase ana edi akwhye ahonhom abonsamfo mate unqualified so be drive car o see road so apena ne master the car na shelensa police hu no be gina afan no na epe bibi kakra bi ama no na okọ kare nipa mpempi magu ho sure ma se ebi ma be disable akunkum amanfo ma na obi abetena TV so ana obi na dia homa be se ba bi ana meye okot ana meye banfo na eja omoso no mu jimi saa enti no yempe nienti a saa nyoma ni sisi enti accident ni sisi no yenhu se yakwan nye se ebe yakwan papa no minister whoever is in charge no sika wo se de kokwan no mu no obete ne share contractor bete ne share enti se sika no se 100% na wo se kokwan no ma by the time ombe tititi omo share wi no na 5% 10% na wo kwan no mo enti ombe kwan no 2 days 3 days 1 month na sha se tutu maintenance bia so ni ho yem investigation audit who say adentin na kwan ye no 2023 na 2024 ya say then say paper your contract no say kwan yetimi was say timi di be 10 years ansa na potholes abaso obia enfo obia ho ye be wuhu nti niasi take no mama mfa no ho masem obi na anye na dwuma ye obi na kwajichi sika bi obabi ana nema nkoye ya chechi sankrofo ni bi hwe no so video kakra.
Authorities in Turkey are targeting more than 130 people with ties to the collapsed buildings that crushed thousands of families as they slept. Dozens of arrest warrants have been issued for contractors and other workers. At least 2 property developers have been arrested at airports accused of trying to flee the country.
The Justice Ministry here has formed an earthquake investigations unit that will look into deaths and injuries among residents here, and it will be an enormous task when you consider the...
Wate, omachi builders in be. 2 mpo na nkomo bia na Africa no mo na Chomo airport. More than 100 of them. Sika no mo dia wie. Kamo de be yo ma ya wie. Me kan bi o mo family members ka ho bio. Nti bone enso no. Bone bi a wudi nne no. E ho asotwe no wan hwe bone nye wo. Na wo family member bi. O man. Nti wo wutua bribe, ni nipa wo je bribe no. Ni nyina no enye. Wo te kwan chen ba bia wo ton nyama na ho nye. Ebetu a wo se aba no nto ma o ma pani no. Nti ono so beja ma wate na wote wona ka betwa fa so ba bia wusi fie ne nye ye koka wo se na mento aba mani biom wa wunim se obayi wantwa onya de ukotwa sika ma yafa no abra wunim se obi so ya de nti eye hand in hand ya enjoy bribery and corruption e de how ni amane ne be brains na asofo kohwifo no so di akire ana nyame na bunsa bi na tumi bi na ofia baifo na ni wura fi se moa mistake fi na wo yegu gata no mo no bribe na yi twetwa ma police for ni bia omoje bribe no bribe na e chance ya fani pa adwuma no eno na yi di nya as a before men come ma aban ko from a suru be cancer because near o twia ni near o gene nyina the same thing. Because we are willing so obetua ano no so are willing so obeje the same ya enti nipa no nim ka ni twi e be man license ni bi If you need by any quantity, see if any CEO, obetua bribe a just as no, obesi CEO, so beto befano, afibia and so to a funny pa, and so the same problem. A jashishi and a becosa illegal connection. Oh, yeah, unim say a yet via in 4 beba homba check, unim say illegal connection. Epeka cram or Monsu jai, enti or Mona jato ho, na shibi bia, it is kind of wabuano. I was as well back to square zero, 1 real 1 hour for your own qua. Bribery and corruption. When the kaya wuti me enye, and then my bonny a bob by no money enye immigration for then a moye in the bonnet and rua stamp beer so a soft water on oil, food and transport, then a moya found bribery and corruption. Soft water on oil, a hodo, yesu moja and keka hon, ni pair num con yem ne dimu famu, then a moya found bribery and corruption. More tram and nipa 40,000 at once, a mom take action and now every year, nipa ne wouldn't say about 40,000 no. Kakra na free no. You hang me too much before. These are the basic things I was here. Where you still be my so. Omamo who say, enye bonsam bi ne koso ye, enye bibi ne koso ye, ma who say bi mo nam na ana chu o kofa Bible nti na ato no na wowu obia bewu. So ye papa we boni obia wo betu obia. Nti mo fa sa concept ne wo musem no to ho. Ye jinyamedi but idea was what they were doing is one year, Yamini Bibiaka. Open and do life for nothing. O mistake them will be a cohonia manemo. Idea was a year 1 year, Dachi and the Ohonia Manene be broke, and Yanko Ponsu be pusal. You name papa now 1 year a bonemano. It's right, I saw them the beer, almost a sofu preachy, actually, my penny for some munja bribe, who's a sofu preachy, actually, and so much a munja bribe, and it's run and piebony, Bunyamizun that did. So I deal with a software according fake licenses in the bay. Over software not bribe to be. The bamboo could you bribe me fan. After a bit natural them so the bonfire than Yamiase, Yamia. Ye concert nation. Ye concert, especially Christopher. Concert in Kwa. Na malam for the Tihana, we for the day, Illuminati, no better TV, so Opisica, you could TikTok to Facebook. Name me here was one minor enemy and come once more. See, and such a be. Na ya mpe kwan papa na yenso ya hyase ma adwen na nya adwuma na ye ntu ye ho nti wo se oh my god na ebe ni ye na saa na beba mampanifo ene ye na e wo ase nyina a collective but sobuo kese ne bekwa ma mampanifo no because mo na edi ma ba be tire mo na mo control steer no is obitika na chi no ye de mo na wo se bu yi ni si obitika na chi na wonye ne nyoma ya mo na wo se mo punish no enti ya to aba ma o MP say Kotana Parliament necessary anything I have found, you must say police making sure say open maintaining law and order. Anything I have found say judge, oh ya employ judge, who dear amount for them say pepper you near Tracy come judge no na intention we are body or 10 years. Oh be your mind sick on number free. A better no man book on the name. Your name way now. Be now to take bribery and corruption. But maybe okay near to Uncle you, but nam say take it. Builders and engineers and contractors. Dream with dear catas share our man press we answer dino said the government and them ran by not government to ye ha said you see 1991 no my hana and no namagana ya this year. It is a make us a bribery and corruption. Anna a kahubina a true free mona. I was all time I say, men can say a true aqua bribe. Dabi. News I ban say builders, any engineers or more taking area more or more here dances or more and sit down ye. Anything I ever when about dining native booze into obesity cockroach bribery and corruption be and lead to amount for 40,000 and plus, including Christian Atsu. I negana for a charge ajo. Yebesre Busha for Yamisha Mode. Now when you know, you share the film as of mine. Issue them from as a nation, like a task, shiny dream, ye castle, a ball of mine, and ma my be in Africa, ye problem number one, a bribe and corruption. I'm sorry for you, but I'm sorry no so a beckham was a Jaffa, and net papa and yes so far, and sorry be with him by so for. I'm sorry before be elder, ye two about bribery and corruption. When I say that if you know, it's of mine ye de me de mense masio ya futu sem ye suni nyina no na ye fam waba utua agya etua so gya agya agye nyame meka bribe ho asem nyame enhyira wo bye